TT. Sorella, this is a part of Port of Spain that is so rich in history. I recall in the cricket history days in school reading that the descendants of the emancipated slaves rioted. They didn't like it at all when the colonialists said, no more carnival.
Yeah.
Riots in this area, you know.
Yeah, Jay, you're very right. Remember, it was August the 1st where the emancipated slaves first celebrated their freedom and then later participated in carnival. Now, part of the whole transformation, I remembered reading them carrying the burning sugar cane, what they call the can brulee. Well, I mean, we now call it the can brulee.
Excellent. I mean, history, you know, culture is all right here. And you know your city too. I love that, Sorella.
Well, I've come down to the reenactment, you know, for Carnival, and the All-Star Spaniard not too far away. But Jay, you know, as we talk about those riots, I think it really relates to many of the candidates in our show. Many of them are just really tired of the talk and they want action. So you know what? Let's meet our next candidate. His name is Jamari Hector from Bethel in Tobago.
I'm Jamari Hector, representing the beautiful Isle of Tobago, and I am going to be your first youth Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. I grew up in the village of Bethel, very humble circumstances, very, very calm beginnings. And Bethel is a beautiful place, bordered by the Mount Irving Golf Course, the beautiful beaches of Grange Bay, Mount Irving, Bucco Bay. It was a really nice place to grow up. The people were very community-oriented. Everybody looked out for each other. And I think that is in keeping with the whole aesthetics of being a Tobagonian, essentially Tobagonian.
Jamari is basically the guy that usually always picks up people battles. You know, is that kind of guy that assists in influence. You know, it's always that kind of guy that always help you to come along the right path.
One of the quotes that, the really transformative readings or quotes that I got from reading was by Albert Einstein, who said that society needs to create independently thinking and acting individuals who, however, see in the service of their community their highest life achievement. And when I read that, my mind was revolutionized. I was transformed, because it dawned on me that I need to be a kind of individual who reaches out, advocate on behalf of others. Give young people, give the teenagers, give the adolescents an opportunity to participate in conversations about them, for them, and to them, but has hitherto for not been with them. When I think about patriotism, I think about serving the common interests of a national goal, accomplishing a national good. And so when this opportunity presented itself to me, I thought that maybe I should lend my potentials to this initiative, because as Youth Prime Minister, I will be able to speak to issues relative to the things that affect young people.
I would like to refer to two major things that I would think influence him to this, or reach him to this particular stage. And the first one is being a member of the Trinidad and Tobago Cadet Force, where I think, you know, us being in the Cadet Force together, I would see where he would show leadership, you demonstrate leadership, and we will come through the ranks together. And the second one, I think, would be a very big part and a very big influence would have been being an executive member of the Guild of the National University of Trinidad and Tobago. I think that really gave him that stability and that grounded, you know, way to know how to operate.
Being a youth prime minister comes as more than an award. It comes as a responsibility to be able to serve the people who entrust their concerns, their cares, and their destinies into your hand. The thing that made me believe that I was meant to do this was a saying that I had received from Apostle Baird, the deceased Apostle Bertil Baird, who said that leadership is a responsibility, and when persons ask you to serve them, you have a responsibility to serve them.
Up next on Youth Elect TT is Richard Jagasa, who, from what we understand, has been groomed from birth to be a politician. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Richard Jagasa, and I am from Phillips City, Chaguanas West, and I am your Youth Prime Minister.
How can we, the youths, ever truly make a difference? The answer, my brothers and sisters, is in here. Look within, find the ability to serve, make it yours, for it is your own.
If I had to describe myself in 3 words, it would have to be dedication, passion, and persistence. And it's because those are the qualities that you will often find in good leaders, excellent leaders, performers, And individuals that throughout history tend to fight for the oppressed. From a very early age, my parents engulfed me in social work with Kiwani's Club. They also had me involved in sport and cultural activities. In fact, I played cricket for Comets in Central. I played football and field hockey, and even ran track and field at my alma mater, St. Mary's College.
Richard was born into a home that is highly political. Both his father and I have been in politics for over 20 years. And when Richard was a child, even at 2-3 years old, he would go in with us to political meetings. So it was something that he learned from childhood through observational learning, looking at us, looking at his parents, participating in walkabouts, community service, participating in activities with political leaders at that time.
My motivation stems from my desire to make a difference. My desire to make a difference comes from observing those that have come before me. Mahatma Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela. These individuals fought for all those who are oppressed. This one woman in particular, she was a mother of 3. Her house was flooded in Felicity, and we went to her home and we offered her hampers and mattresses and so on. And then somebody from the team decided, why not help her rebuild her house, because her house was so poorly damaged, was in such a poor state. And it took us about 3.5 weeks, and at the end of the process, it was the look on her face of appreciation that I would like to see in all citizens of Trinidad.
Richard was an only child for 10 years, and he wanted a pet really bad. And I remember him, persistently begging for a pet. And every time we would have this discussion with him and ask him, so if we were to get a pet, how would you be able to care for the pet and the responsibilities involved in having this pet? And he would realize that with school and with attending meetings and social events after school, it was not possible for him to be at home to fulfill those responsibilities to have a pet. So one Sunday morning, I discovered that there was a little basket under the couch in the living room, and when I pulled the basket out, there was a rock in it, and I asked, how did this get here? And then he told me, this is his pet. And I asked him, why a rock? He said, well, I have no responsibilities. I don't have to come home early every day to take care of this pet, but I have a pet. It's my rock pet.
My reaction to finding out I was selected to be a finalist was obviously joy. And I was so elated that an organization would accept me at this level, even though I have been involved in politics for so long. I see this as my avenue for change.
Before we take you to the break, let's take you back onto the platform to meet our next candidate from the sister isle of Tobago, Jamari Phillips.
Welcome to the beautiful sister isle of Buku Point, Tobago. I am Jamari Phillips, your next candidate for Youth-elect TT. Have we lived a life of poverty? Have we as leaders faced the hard trials that some of our youths are facing today? I will describe myself as humble, industrious, and intelligent. I'm hardworking, and I like to put my best foot forward and do what I'm supposed to do. I'm humble, I'm willing to listen, to comprehend, and then respond.
Nikosi grew in a humble home, as most of us would have years ago. I saw him as a leader from the time he was in primary school and in the Pan Theatre, NLCB Buccaneers Pan Tent. He was a leader because he wanted to play all the pans and show the other children how to play the pan.
A lot of things has happened in the past, but what we have to look at is how we learn from the past to go to the future. Based on my legs, they were broken when I was small, and I had to spend most of my life in the hospital at Prince Elizabeth Home. So that kind of pushed me to be the person that I am today.
In growing up, we realized that he had a deformity in his knees. So I took him to the health center, and they realized that something was wrong with his knees. So we went to the Prince Elizabeth Home, and he took at least 3 operations.
I'm tired of being in the background. I'm tired of helping people and not being recognized for it. And I just don't want to be recognized for it. I want to continue doing the work. And I think I am capable of winning this Prime Minister position, hopefully, God spare life. And I am voted and elected to be the Youth Prime Minister. I will represent the youth and the voice of the youths. That's why I named my party TT, Youths Will Rise. Trinidad and Tobago Youths Will Rise.
Well, to me, he's natural. He don't depend on anyone. He always try to emphasize on what he do and try to do his best.
I was elated, and I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad I'm having the opportunity to represent the youths, and I will continue to do so. And that's why next week I'm going to put on a banging speech and a presentation at Trinity.